Obernolte for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. DeBlanc-Knowles, I would like to highlight something that you touched on in your testimony. We have a rich tradition in this country where cutting-edge research is done in our academic institutions. And we have a tradition of publication where that research is transparent, it's shared with other people, and that leads to verification by peer review. And people in other institutions will literally stand on the shoulders of giants in reaching new frontiers in the advancement of human knowledge. But I fear we are in danger of changing the way that advanced research in artificial intelligence is done, because as Mr. Clark testified, the cost of training frontier AI models is on this exponential curve, and it's already beyond the ability of most academic institutions to pay for. So that's why the National AI Research Resource is so important in establishing a pool of compute and data to enable this research to continue to be done in academia rather than by private companies. The pilot program for NAIR is wonderful. Congratulations on getting that kicked off. Obviously, we are trying to codify that. We have the Create AI Act, which Congresswoman Eshoo, Congressman Byers, and I are co-sponsoring to try and make that permanent and attach it to a permanent source of funding. Will that be enough by itself to guarantee that that research continues to be done in academic settings as well as in commercial settings?
So making the transition from the NAIR pilot to a full-scale NAIR will have incredible impacts on our academic AI research environment, as well as the ability for scientists in other domains to apply AI to achieve and accelerate breakthroughs. And I think the impact can't be understated. And you mentioned the role of the academic research community in terms of verifying and validating results. And so we see a lot of potential for the NAIR in not just enabling a small group of users to train frontier models, but enabling many more researchers to work with the cutting edge models of today. We hear from researchers in academia that even when working with an existing open large language model, they don't have access to enough compute to perform inference on that model and to really kind of kick the tires on how is it working, how can we improve the safety and reliability. And so the NAIR is going to have an impact in terms of enabling researchers with they don't need tremendous amounts of compute, but they need adequate compute in order to work with the cutting edge models.
Right, thank you. Mr. Clark, very nice to see you again. I've enjoyed our conversations in the past. I just want to highlight how remarkable I found your testimony, because one of the problems that NAIR is designed to solve is this problem that we might have a concentration of market power into just the few of the biggest companies who could afford to monopolize access to advanced GPUs and the energy needed to feed them and the data needed to train frontier models. Which would limit competition and also limit entrepreneurialism when it comes to AI. But I mean, you're here as co-founder of Anthropic saying this would be a terrible idea. We support more competition. And I find that incredibly refreshing. Could you take a minute and explain why you think that NAIR and, in a larger sense, more competition is good, not only for the industry, but for the country?
Thank you. I care about this deeply. I think ecosystems die when they become dependent on a very small number of entities within them, and this is true of private sector dominance for a really important part of science. We are fortunate to be in our position, and we publish research and we seek to share it, but we are one type of species in an ecosystem. There need to be others within it, and I think that that's crucial for us to have really good ideas as a collective. And to your comments about open publication, the incentives of industry do not point in the direction of full publication of scientific information. We do our best, but we have incentives, and you need to both change those incentives and create people with different ones. That's why it's so important that we fund this and take it seriously.
Well, thank you. I wish I had time for another question. I could talk about this all day, but thanks to all of our witnesses for your testimony on this really critically important topic. I yield back.